Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with RE/MAX, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier. It can get ugly on closing day. Just, you were supposed to leave this. You didn't do this. Agents are supposed to be there as a mediator to make sure things run smooth. And when it is with a realtor, I got to tell you, 99.9%, it does run smooth. I mean, you get the odd ones that things go sideways, and it's just because there were some unforeseen things, or maybe the seller or the buyer, went sideways, and it's hard to tell. But 99.9% of deals done with realtors do close, and it makes it smooth for any buyer or seller.
Yeah, on that negotiation side, Rob, too, I think, you talked about the tensions. The other side of it, and I don't like to admit that I'm like this, but sometimes I'm too nice. Like I might not, when I'm facing someone, say all that I want for something out of a deal. So it's good to have somebody else that you can go, yeah. You go in, you be the bulldog, you get me what I want,
Absolutely. Because sometimes people just don't have that in them. And you know what? And then the inconvenience of people coming through your house, you have to be there for all those showings and all that kind of stuff if you're selling privately. But with a realtor, everything's on the system, everybody's insured, everything's documented. Everything is all there. And there are some, I think in Germany, their private for sales is probably one of the highest in the world. Now, they're used to doing that. I think in Quebec, it's about, 8 or 9%. In Ontario, I don't even think it's 1 or 2%. I think it's very low for private for sales. And look at that. Private for sale companies, they've tried in Ontario and they failed and they've closed up. And it's just because.
Yeah, there used to be a really big one, and that one didn't work out.
No, and that's what happens. Like those companies, people want value, and in the long run, you do get more money for your house with a realtor, or if you're buying, you do negotiate a better deal a lot of times. If you do privately, some people think, the savings will be passed down to the buyer. Thinks the savings will be passed down to him if he buys privately. It doesn't. They still want the big top dollar, and a lot of times buyers end up paying more, overly too high for the house, because they don't have somebody there giving them the information what the neighborhood price should be at. And so the buyers end up paying sometimes a lot more than they should have. And then the sellers, a lot of times we've seen sellers sell for less than what they sold for, that they should have sold for. They could have got more money. There's all different aspects of that when it's coming to buying and selling privately. And people think, they don't want to deal with the realtor, but sometimes when somebody's been bitten hard on that, they'll say, I'll never do it without a realtor, because they know they're insured. They find out information that they can't really get access to. And I know I'm a realtor. I get it. People are going to talk about, you want everybody to buy through a realtor. I get it. Listen, I've done both ways, even before I was a realtor. And I hated paying the fees, but I'll tell you, the ones that I did with the realtor before I became a realtor, those deals all closed. I did have private deals that were scrambling on the last minute because the buyer just didn't do the work that he needed to do to get the information to his mortgage or his lawyer and all that kind of stuff. So I've done it both ways prior to being a realtor.
Rob, I want to ask you, you mentioned sometimes a buyer might come in and they'll make an offer and you're selling privately, but they haven't done the financing part of it. Let's say that was me and I was going to buy your house. We were doing a private deal and I don't close. Would you be able to come after me legally?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go after them legally, and you can hold on to their deposit. You got to try to resell the house. Sometimes that buyer can say, well, I may close in a month now instead. So he kind of ties up the place. There's certain clauses that you can put into the offer to indicate, hey, listen, you don't close, your deposit automatically goes directly to the seller, and we don't need any documentation for you to sign to let us have any comment. What's the word for it? Just ties with this offer. And I've got clauses like that. And they don't like signing them because sometimes, you know, like if they don't close, unless you're talking to them and things are going to happen, maybe it closes a week later, not a problem. But if they're not going to close and they're ghosting you, boom, take the deposit, goes right into your account, put it back up for sale again, and try to sell it fast, and so that you can go on with your life.
I don't know anything about those like online, I guess, kits that people are getting to do these types of deals. Do they have those clauses in them, or is this up for people just to understand and put them in themselves?
No, they don't. They just give them basic stuff, and I know that there's not. I don't know if there's still any private for sale places. I'll tell you, like, I know there's a lot of discounters out there, but they don't do anything for you except just put the sign on the front lawn, put it on MLS, and they just pray and wait to see if somebody brings an offer in. And sometimes they're not getting the action or the exposure that your house should get. This is one of the most expensive investments that you have. Do not cheap out. It's funny though. Sometimes people, you know, they'll hire somebody with less experience, less knowledge of the market, just because their fees were so much less versus an experienced person, which the fees are not that much more than that other person was willing to offer. And they were, and they're willing to go with somebody like that on one of the most expensive investments they have. You're gambling. It's like, yeah, here, hey, you just got your license here. Take care of my $800,000 house and sell it and see if you can get me good money. You got to be very careful about that.
Don't want to be gambling with almost $1 million. That's for sure. I don't anyway. You can call the Golfi team anytime, 905-641-0308, robgolfi.com. Rob is sticking around with us here on the Golfi Real Estate Show. Back with more next here on News Talk 610 CKTB. All right, last one. Welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show here on News Talk 610 CKTV. Rob Golfi is here getting into all things real estate. Looks like things are starting to pick up in the market like Rob has been telling us. Rob, let's talk now about the process of taking possession of a home. And, you know, maybe there's some big problems. You get in there, maybe you knew there was going to be some stuff and you thought, oh, well, I'm getting a good deal for it, so we'll just go ahead. Or they find out things as they're owning the home. What do we do?
Yeah, there's always things. Sometimes you find out things even a month after you move in. So the key thing is if it's something that the homeowner intentionally hid, didn't disclose, you can go after them. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times they'll call the realtor. We'll try to figure things out ourselves with the realtor. But now the deal's closed. The money's exchanged. The buyer's got the keys. The seller's got his money. They're off and gone, right? Nothing you can do about it. And what do you do when you've got some major issues in a house where the previous homeowner knew about it but didn't disclose? What you do is, first of all, you get it fixed right away. Just make sure you document everything, take pictures, everything, and then get it fixed. And then what you do is just call the lawyer and say, hey, listen, now lawyers don't want to take care of this. And sometimes you may have to go to the realtor. The realtor will send an email to the other realtor, say, hey, listen, the homeowner knew about these problems and they didn't disclose it, and now our buyer has it, and what are you guys going to do about it? Now, if they don't want to do anything about it, that's fine. Then we'll just take them to a small claims court, or we'll get a lawyer to send them a letter indicating if you don't pay, we're going to take you to small claims. And if obviously they moved out, maybe they bought another house, you can go after them. And I would take them to small claims as long as you document everything. I mean, we've had houses where there's some major plumbing issues, and they should have disclosed it. They knew they had these problems, and they should have disclosed these problems, and they didn't. So what we do is we'll get we'll get a lawyer to send them a letter. If they don't do anything, then we just go a small claims action. They will lose. The judge will know that they were hiding this defect on the house and they didn't disclose, so they will lose and they'll have a judgment against them. So you don't want to do that. I mean, if you have a house and you got problems with it, disclose it. It's going to cost you less money by disclosing it than it is by trying to hide it, sell it, and then get sued after for it, because you're going to get sued for way more money than what the cost would have been if you fixed it yourself or disclosed it. Those
So
are the
the
things.
the judge's not going to buy them sitting there going like, oh, I had no idea.
Exactly. Like I had no idea I had the sewers are plugged every other day. I had no idea. Like right, you know what I mean. I had no idea that there was a leak in the one corner of the basement. You know what I mean. Like they do know, and they do know. I mean, I had one incident one time where there was mold behind in the basement wall behind all the, I think, paneling or drywall. So the people that owned the house, like the new buyers, they're redoing the basement and everything. They pulled the wall away to redo some things, and there was mold along the whole wall, the whole back wall, and it's like, whoa. And so there's mold throughout the house, and so they went after. Now the one thing is, the previous owner did not know there was mold behind the walls, because you can't see behind the walls. So that was kind of a little difficult to prove, because anything that happens behind the walls, if the previous owner didn't know, he didn't know. Like it's not like he knew. There was no signs of it. They had a home inspection. Did they do a meter read on mold? I don't know. When they did the inspection, but that one there went for a long time, and nothing. I don't think anything got resolved on that. Not because the previous owner had no idea that there was mold behind the walls in the basement. So
I mean, that's one of those things you might not know. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Rob Golfi from the Golfi team. Give them a call, 905-641-0308, robgolfi.com. That's Rob, GOLFI.com, and start packing. This is News Talk 610, CKTV.